Hey guys, can you see me? You're not gonna believe this. I'm hiding behind one of the biggest Japanese maples I've ever seen in person in my entire life. This specimen here, we measured it. It has a circumference of 13'6". It is one of the largest diameter Japanese maples in the entire world. It is such a special tree. It's definitely the champion tree I've ever seen for trunk on a Japanese maple. Welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. I'm Matt. We're here at the Hopewood Estate today in historic Flat Rock, North Carolina to talk to you about this amazing specimen.
How old do you think this Japanese maple is?
We believe when Japan opened up trade with the U.S. and they started importing things back into Charleston, the first house was 1877. It's our belief when that trade opened up in 1890, somewhere in that range, 1890 to 1895, the tree was planted.
I know you showed me a picture of the Hopewood Estate in like 1900, and this was a large specimen tree then. I mean, it might have been a hand drawing of it, but it was a large specimen plant.
Yeah, we have aerial photography out of it various times, and it's just spectacular.
Now, we brought the North American Maple Society here, and everybody was in shock and awe of this size tree. I mentioned it earlier, but I've been to Westonbirt Arboretum, which is the largest planting of Japanese maples in the Western world, and I've been to Japan. I've never seen a Japanese maple with this much girth. I've seen taller, but I've never seen one with this big a trunk. It is something truly special, and I feel cool knowing that we're like 5 minutes down the road from you too, with this kind of beauty here growing in the mountains of Western North Carolina.
This thing's electric. You said this even goes to a bright red in the fall?
Bright red.
Now, does this tree leaf out a little bit more red also? I think I've seen some
It does.
photos of yours.
It starts with kind of a reddish leaf, goes green, and then give me a little bit of cool weather in the fall. This thing will just go brilliant red.
I definitely had to get in here on a port. I mean, I can't imagine somebody had to bring this probably here on a ship at some point to be this size. I mean, like, wow.
Yeah, and that's how, Japanese maples really got to the East Coast, was coming down to Japan and on trade coming into places like Charleston, because the Charlestonians would love this type of a tree. But that's how it got here.
But then it had to also be brought probably by horse and buggy from Charleston
You got it.
to Flat Rock.
Yeah.
So we're talking about such an
This
amazing...
tree's been on a journey to get here for sure.
That it has.
Now, how long have you been maintaining this specimen here?
Well, since we acquired the property in 2009, so it's gone through 2 updates on our strapping system. There was originally a strapping system in here where they drilled through the limb and put metal in. We didn't take those out, but we've added in a significant amount of strapping.
So your strapping is basically just support for the branches.
Yeah.
Because this tree is so old, just to
Right.
ensure that this tree is here as long as possible.
Right, and with snow, ice, wind, the tree moves with itself.
Yeah.
And it's not going to do this. So if you shoot up into it, you'll see how much work goes into this tree, as with any of our large specimen trees that are multi-truck.
I think this one's an important piece of just,
Yeah.
horticulture history here.
Yep.
And I'm so glad it's with someone who has the foresight to take care of it and do all these steps you're
Yep.
doing to maintain a beautiful specimen like this. I mean, it is truly special. I've hiked some of the older groves of palmatums growing natively in Japan. I've seen some massive trees. I've seen some very tall trees. I've never seen one with this big a trunk. I've seen some massively tall ones, but they pillar in size. I mean, they're small in comparison to the size of what this brings for that caliper in diameter.
It put the moss on it and the character of this tree.
Right.
I mean, you could just come out here and sit and stare at
This
it.
is everything anybody that's ever done a bonsai wants to recreate right here. I mean, this tree is a living bonsai in the full-size specimen with the buttress roots, with the nabari, with the age, with the moss, with everything about this plant. I mean, it is a living bonsai in full size.
I mean, each of these trunks coming off at, about 3-4 feet, each of those branches that come off.
Look like a 50-year-old tree.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. This tree is truly special, and I'm so glad it's here at the Hopewood Estate, where you appreciate it,
Oh,
and it's here where it can be preserved, because this
I asked a lot of folks when we had the Maple Society meeting here. We had Talon Buckholtz, and I mean, we've traveled the worldwide looking for Japanese maples. He has as well. I mean, he's got a lifetime of traveling the world looking
and
at
so many
Japanese
other
maples.
nurserymen there too.
But
Carl
he
Munn.
had never seen one bigger than this. Neither Carl nor Talon, any of the guys we talked to had never seen a diameter trunk this special. So, pretty cool. Brian, I got to get you on camera. Being a Japanese maple geek, a Japanese maple fanatic, a plant hoarder extraordinaire.
Yeah.
What do you think about when you get next to something like this?
I mean, you kept telling me, I've got this Japanese maple you got to see.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe how big this is. And in my mind, I'm trying to comprehend it. But until I stood here today, I mean, this just absolutely sends chills
Right.
down my spine just being here in its presence. I mean, you feel like you're beholding something prehistoric.
Right.
I mean, just the size of it, the scope of it, the gnarly trunk and base that's on this thing.
I mean, it looks like a bonsai. I know I keep saying that, but
It's
it looks
just-
like a bonsai.
Absolutely does. I mean, the scale of it is really hard to portray. We hope that it's coming across on film, but I mean, this is absolutely stunning. You've got this amazing grounds here at the Hopewood Estate, and it's just, I mean, the presence of it, it just takes over the area. It's
Right.
absolutely amazing.
I would estimate the height of the tree as well over 40, 45 foot, and probably a 60-foot spread.
This thing has
And-
a
but the-
giant canopy to it. You know,
The
it's,
base, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to see Nakakomoto weeping in Japan, and that's the 400-year-old national treasure of Japan, and it is a weeping Ryusen style that's 400 years old. So, no discredit to that. That's amazing. But I think this tree may even have a bigger base. So the actual circumference, you know, this ain't no 2-inch
Right.
caliber tree. This one, I don't think you've got a horticulture scale that can measure this one. But we did take a tape measure and go all the way around it, and we got to 13'6".
Yeah.
Which is insane laid out. And I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2". I can put my hands out like this behind it. You can't see either of my hands. So
I don't think that me and Matt could bear hug it and touch each other's hands on either side.
Right.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's just,
unreal.
it is, you know, and the character of it speaks so loudly too, because it just has this amazing structure to it. The trunk system on it is just absolutely amazing. You've got this amazing moss that's covering all of its branches. You know, it just feels like it's been here forever, you
Right.
know, and it's been here a long time, obviously. But just, you know, standing here in its presence and under the canopy of it, looking up to the blue sky there, it's just the spread, the canopy of it is humongous.
Yeah.
I've never in my life thought I would see a Japanese maple this size.
And it's 5 minutes from the nursery. That's the crazy part. Is I mean, we caught lunch and came back. That's like
That's
2
right.
minutes away. And when I first got to see this tree, many of you, if you're familiar with the Maple Society, you may have toured Dr. Kritikos' home. Really cool guy, good customer of mine, and just really good friend. He said, "You've got to see my neighbor's tree." And so he brought me over here. It was in like a February time frame. And we're walking up this hill this way from his house, and I'm like, that's not a Japanese maple. And I'm like, no, it's gonna be like some ancient plum tree or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, just the structure of it and everything. I'm like, there's no way. And then we get up here closer, and I start looking at the buds, and I start smiling like just a big old goober. And he's like,
man.
I told you, this one's special. And so I'm just like blown away just looking at the, addle leaf, the size of this plant. And so I couldn't wait to get it back over here when it's in leaf. I've got to see this tree in the fall. We'll definitely have to document some of the fall colors and spring colors.
Absolutely.
Mr. Flanagan's so gracious. He's given me permission to get some grafts off this one.
Sure.
So any of you that attended that Maple Society tour that actually came here and looked at the tree, we may offer this one in the future with the name Hopewood on it for this estate here. But just a historically important Japanese maple. I've never seen a larger Japanese maple, especially in the United States, but I've never seen a larger base trunk to a Japanese maple anywhere in the world. I think it might be one of the champions for base anywhere ever.
I mean, I think so. And, just thinking that we're always thinking about new video ideas, I think this is definitely one. You were just mentioning the fall color.
Right.
We got to get back here
Right.
this year when this thing goes into fall color and just capture that. I mean, and you just imagine a 60-foot spread canopy of Japanese maple in full fall color.
Now,
I mean, it's just mind
To
blowing.
get geeky on you, I've seen taller Acer palmatum subspecies palmatum. So the very basic small leaf green.
Right.
I've seen a 55-footer. I've seen taller than that in Japan. I've seen a 55-footer here locally that actually got hit by lightning and is no longer there.
Right.
But there was a 55-footer here in Flat Rock. And there's some very old ones near the Biltmore house that are circa 50 foot that
Yeah.
probably were planted by Olmsted. And so there's some very old Acer palmatum subspecies palmatum. This one is Acer palmatum subspecies amoenum. So it's
Yeah.
got that larger style
Nice
foliage.
broad leaf to it.
And it doesn't quite have the height, but man, that trunk is, that's it. That's the best trunk on a Japanese maple maybe in the world.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're into like the bonsai concept and creating that, I mean, this is like what everybody dreams about having right here.
Don't trunk cut it right here though.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's like, you know, bonsai in full scale.
Right.
Like you were talking about, you have this amazing just character on
Yeah.
every inch of this tree. And it's just shocking to really see it here in person today. It's just
The reason I
amazing.
keep going back to bonsai is that's really what you're recreating in bonsai is this kind of epic tree. So you're taking that old look. You know, this tree's well over 130 years old, and you're recreating that look in a smaller scale. And you know, it's awesome when nature does that for you, and you get to experience it firsthand here in person. So,
Yeah.
wow! I hope you enjoyed this look at this epic Hopewood tree here in Flat Rock, North Carolina.
I mean, right now, I'm actually kind of standing here in awe of this tree. I mean, it's just, words don't do it justice. You know, the camera can't really capture the scope of it. We're going to try. We're going to attempt this. But I mean, this thing is absolutely amazing. I mean, everything that you could like imagine in your mind and create in your mind of a Japanese maple in its all glory is absolutely this tree right here. It's
Right.
just stunning.
You get speechless when you're next to something like this. You think about how old it is. You think about, you know, how much the world's changed since this tree was a seedling. And just, I mean, this predates modern Japanese maples in America completely. This tree was planted likely before 1900, or at least it was grown before 1900, before it even got here. So
Yeah.
an amazing specimen. You stand in shock and awe of something like that. It really makes you stop and just kind of take in the moment and just think about it. I mean, it's just an awesome specimen. So we hope you've enjoyed us getting this on camera for you. We love capturing this kind of stuff at Mr. Maple. It's the kind of thing we're super passionate about. So we love making these videos for you guys, but I'll be honest, we kind of make them for ourselves a bit here too. We love this kind of stuff. Please like, subscribe, and share to our YouTube channel. That's how we get to do more of this kind of content. And we just appreciate you being part of it by subscribing here on the Mr. Maple channel.
Yeah, this is something I think we every day are just trying to create in our minds of how can we come out here and show you guys something spectacular. And that's the whole point of this show, is to try to bring more attention to amazing plants like this. And it doesn't get much better than an example of this tree right here. And so just to be able to bring this to you, I think is a great honor for both of us,
Yeah.
and a privilege for them to come and let us come and tour the gardens here and just capture this moment and share it with you guys. It's absolutely amazing. We appreciate you guys watching this show.
Hey, we get geeked out and fired up about this. We hope it turns you on to some new cool plants and gets you fired up about horticulture and Japanese maples as well. Thanks so much. Like, subscribe, share. Check out our weekly emails on the 10 at 10. We're always putting new plants on there. At some point, we'll probably offer a couple grafts of this amazing specimen. So take care
God bless.
and have a great day.